Well, new this morning, White House spokesman Robert Gibbs making a bold prediction about the outcome of the upcoming 9/11 trials. Right now, the Obama administration is in the middle of trying to find a location other than Manhattan to try professed 9/11 mastermind Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and 4 alleged accomplices. Well, here's what Gibbs said this morning.
Let me tell you what Plan A is for Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is going to meet justice, and he's going to meet his maker.
In a federal courtroom or in a military commission?
He will be brought to justice, and he is likely to be executed for the heinous crimes that he committed in killing and masterminding the killing of 3,000 Americans. That you can be sure of.
And joining me live now from Washington, D.C., former CIA Special Agent Jack Rice, and here in the studio right behind me, former Federal Prosecutor Michael Wildes. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning. Good morning.
Michael, I want to get your reaction to what Robert Gibbs just said. I mean, you are a former Federal Prosecutor. What do you think?
Everybody wants justice meted out. No doubt there is a great interest in bringing people back to the area of ground zero. I do not believe that this should be tried in a civilian court. This is a platform yet for these individuals to perform against our interests while we have the ability to protect citizens. We are in the worst economy faced in a generation and should not be spending $200 million in showing these individuals how they can unfetter us and get us nervous, whether it's Wall Street people, real estate people, or children going to school. Most importantly, and I'm sure my colleague would understand this, the intelligence value of this process needs to be secured. Documents, classified documentation, was compromised in the 20th hijacker case because it went to a civilian court. Lawyers like myself are ethically sworn to do the job for their clients. That means the first motion that will go in will be a motion to change venue, to suppress evidence, to have appeals. This will go on for years. We should not allow them to make a farce of our legal system.
Okay, now, Michael, I'm going to tell you right now, having spoken with Jack, he actually thought it would be fine to have it take place there in Lower Manhattan at the federal court. Right, Jack?
Absolutely.
And so your take on Gibbs's comments and what Michael just said?
Well, I completely disagree. I mean, the argument is it's going to cost us money. We're spending $4,000 million a month in Afghanistan right now.
4,000 million?
4,000 million, yes.
Okay.
$4 billion a month. I mean, that's the number we're talking about. And the argument that somehow we can't protect ourselves, and if Khalid Sheikh Mohammed actually uses the courtroom as a platform, are we so shockingly weak that we can't actually stand up after he says death to America?
I'm sorry. I don't think it's a position of weakness.
I certainly want you to respond, but let me finish this point. The point is that if we look back at the number of prosecutions we have done when it comes to terrorism cases, more than 300, more than 90% of those have been prosecuted successfully. So they have been convicted. The likes of Richard Reed, he's sitting in a maximum security prison in Colorado right now for the rest of his life. Frankly, that makes complete sense. I love the transparency of it, and I love the fact that it could have been done in Lower Manhattan, the perfect place, not that far from where so many Americans were killed.
I represented the gentleman who subdued Richard Reed. I participated in a terrorist trial at one point, and I have to tell you something, that this provocative event, these trials, are exactly what these terrorists want. I do not recall in the history books our going into a civilian court in Hawaii because of the Pearl Harbor attacks. When we bring this into the civilian mainstream, we are reminding the children, the citizens who watch this, that this is a trial. These are combatants. These are people that didn't wear uniforms, that killed. These are the worst of all the terrorists because they killed terrorists on U.S. soil. Therefore, we need to protect not only the methods and the procedures, but the information and the lawyers from causing the judicial system harm.
Okay, so Jack, we have Michael's position on where he'd like to see this. If not Lower Manhattan, where do you think this should go?
I think probably the next place could very well be in Alexandria, Virginia, the rocket docket, as it's been called. They're also very experienced when it comes to prosecuting cases. It's possible they may end up there. Is this going to be complicated? Of course it is. But you know what? If we take them out and shoot them in front of the courthouse, or if we shoot them out of a cannon beforehand, as Robert Gibbs seemed to allude, it makes no sense at all. I think this makes a lot of sense to prosecute them. If it's not going to be New York, then D.C. may be the next best place.
I had the privilege of serving as a mayor, and I can tell you as a former mayor, after 11 years of municipal service, there'll be a lot of people looking at this for the financial value. You need a glass-protected security system. You need to have the methods and procedures and the goings and comings of all of the intelligence, and as well as all the witnesses in this. Remind ourselves that the World Trade Center attack started when 4 little pretzel stands stood out there years in advance between 93 and 01, testing the intelligence value of the first response system. There is a lot of witness traffic that has to be borne here, but we should not allow this to take over our agenda, the media or otherwise. Otherwise, we're allowing the terrorists to rule the roost again.
A lot of information and opinion being shared, gentlemen. I thank you both for your time. Jack Rice and Michael Wildes.
Thanks,
They are
Alex.
the woman behind some of the most fearless fighters in the U.S. military. In a moment, you're going to see how they too make sacrifices in support of their husbands and their country on MSNBC Sunday.